Christmas is fast approaching, and the McCallister family plans to spend the holidays in France, gathering in Peter and Kate's home in Chicago on the night before their departure. Everyone is busy packing their bags and looking forward to having a great time. Members of the family include Peter and Kate's youngest son, Kevin, their oldest daughter, Megan, then Buzz, their oldest son who has a tarantula for a pet, plus Lenny, their older daughter, Fuller, their youngest cousin, and Peter's older brother, Uncle Frank. Kevin becomes the subject of ridicule by his older siblings when he asks them to help him pack his bag. He pleads with Buzz to let him sleep in his room as he can't share his own with Fuller, who's known for wetting the bed, but Buzz refuses. They look through the window to see an old man named Marley, who is rumored to be a serial killer who murdered his own family in 1958. The rumor has it that he kills and puts his victims in a bucket of salt, which turns them into mummies. That evening, Harry and Marv, a pair of burglars known as the Wet Bandits, disguise themselves as cops to case on the family's property. Harry inquires to know where they're going for the holidays, and Peter tells him. He ironically assures them of their home's safety, and they leave. The family orders pizza and sits to eat at the dining table, but Kevin arrives late and can't find his plain cheese pizza. He realizes that Buzz has eaten it, and he fights him, accidentally ruining the family dinner, and pours drinks all over their flight tickets and passports. Disappointed, Kate decides Kevin sleeps in the attic of the house as a punishment. Kevin pleads to his mom for forgiveness, but Kate tells him that it's too late and orders him upstairs. Kevin berates his mom and says he wishes not to ever see any of them again. Kate tells him to be mindful of what he wishes for, but Kevin says he doesn't care and heads to the attic, where he spends the night. At about 12 midnight, heavy winds damage the power lines, which causes a power outage and resets the alarm clocks. As a result, the family oversleeps and wakes up late in the morning with the airport van already waiting outside to pick them up. They quickly dress up, and Kate asks Megan to do a head count of every member of the family. Megan does as instructed, but mistakes Kevin for Murphy, a neighbor next door who had come to say goodbye. They leave, and on their way, Kate asks Megan the number she counted, and she says 15, including the parents. The family gets to the airport and runs as fast as they can, thinking they've missed a flight. However, they arrive at the entrance and are overjoyed when they are told they made it. They board the plane, and while the parents fly in first class, the children stay in coach. Kevin wakes up a moment later to find the house empty. He searches everywhere for his family, starting from his parents' room to his siblings, but finds no one. He checks the garage and begins to think it's a prank when he notices all the cars are parked. Kevin goes back inside and reminisces on all the things that happened the previous night. Instead of feeling remorseful or afraid, he is overjoyed and revels in his newfound freedom, seeing that his wish has come through. He jumps on his parents' bed, litters the house, eats junk food, and watches R-rated movies. He orders pizza as well, which he eats alone. He also learns to do basic things he's never done before, like doing his own laundry, grocery shopping, and taking a proper shower. He realizes he can't find his toothbrush and decides to go get one from the store. However, he remembers he has no money and decides to collect from Buzz's life savings. But in the process, he ruins Buzz's shelf and accidentally releases his tarantula. He grabs the money and heads to the store. He gets the toothbrush and is about to make payment at the counter when old man Marley walks in. Having heard all the rumors about him, Kevin is afraid and takes a few steps backwards before running away, prompting the clerk to mistake him for a shoplifter and alert a cop, who chase after him. However, Kevin is quick on his feet as he takes advantage of the skating floor and easily escapes. On his way home, he becomes sad about himself and says he's a criminal. He's almost hit by the bandits who are about to leave after robbing a property close to Kevin's. Kevin apologizes for not watching, and Harry wishes him a Merry Christmas, and his gold tooth blinks. Just then, Kevin remembers him, but doesn't say a word and walks away. Harry is worried about the way Kevin looked at him, and Marv suggests they follow him to see which house he enters. As Kevin continues walking, he notices them behind him and starts to run, which raises the bandits' curiosity the more, and they chase after him. However, he outsmarted them by hiding in a nearby church while the bandits searched repeatedly and couldn't find him. When they are gone, he uses another route to his home and plans for their return. On the flight, Kate wakes up from sleep with a bad feeling that they didn't do something right. She asks Peter if he did some basic things like closing the garage, and he says no. At that point, she remembers Kevin.
Kevin!
Uncle Frank and other members of the family do their best to console her, but Kate is sad about herself and questions the kind of mother she is. Back at home, the Wet Bandits arrive on their first night to carry out their plan. They get excited knowing fully well that the blocks are empty and can't wait to loot the properties. With their eyes set mainly on the McCallisters' home, which they tagged Silver Tuna, they toast their bars together and get ready to begin operation. Kevin hears their footsteps outside and becomes alert. He tricks them into thinking his family is still home by turning the basement's lights on, forcing them to put their plans on hold. However, he gets scared and hides under the bed. The family arrives in Paris and tries to call home, but finds that all the phone lines are down. After so many attempts, they manage to get in touch with the Chicago Police Department and are promised to send an officer to check up on Kevin. Unfortunately, the police get to the house and repeatedly knock on the door, but Kevin is too afraid to come out, thinking it's the bandits. The police think no one is home, and he leaves. Kate tries to board another plane back to the United States, but discovers that all flights for the next 2 days are booked and will have to wait. Peter and the rest of the family bid her farewell and go to stay in his brother's apartment in Paris, while Kate waits for the flight. She manages to find one back to Dallas after begging an old couple who spare her their tickets, but only gets as far as Scranton, Pennsylvania. She attempts to book a flight to Chicago, but again, everything is booked. Unable to accept this, Kate raises her voice at the staff of the airport and is overheard by Gus Polinsky, the lead member of a traveling polka band. Polinsky offers to let her travel with them to Chicago on their way to Milwaukee in a moving van, which she gratefully accepts. Meanwhile, Harry and Marv finally realize that Kevin is home alone. After Marv hears Peter's message on the answering machine in the house next door they are robbing, and are again convinced that Kevin's house is empty. After robbing the property, Marv turns on the water and leaves it running, which is a typical thing he does on every property they rob. Harry scolds him, and Marv says it's their identity mark, which very well resonates with their name. While the family is fun in Paris, Kevin begins to feel lonely and misses them. He makes a promise to himself never to make trouble again, after which he kisses his parents' picture and goes to bed. Lenny becomes worried about Kevin and wishes nothing bad happens to him. Buzz tells her not to worry about it, as he's certain Kevin will be fine. The bandits arrive at the house on the second night, but Kevin preps cardboard cutouts that give the impression from the window that there is a big party going on inside, and they postpone their plan again. But on second thought, they decide to wait and sleep in the vehicle to see who comes out in the morning. When it's daybreak, Kevin goes outside to cut a Christmas tree, unaware that the bandits are outside. Harry wakes up and sees Kevin, and he alerts Marv. They spy on him while he decorates the tree inside, and become fully convinced that Kevin is home alone when they see no one else. Kevin takes notice of them, and overhears them discussing plans to break into his house that night by 9 p.m. Meanwhile, Kate enjoys her ride with the polka band, who keep her company. On Christmas Eve, Kevin misses his family greatly, and goes to meet the local Santa Claus impersonator. He tells him that he needs nothing else from him, except that he bring his family back for Christmas. Santa Claus says to see what he can do, after which he offers Kevin some candies before leaving. On his way home, Kevin sees a family having a fun moment and wishes his family were around. He goes to a church to pass some time while watching a choir perform. But surprisingly, he turns and sees old man Marley sitting some steps away. Marley walks up to Kevin and asks if he could sit. Kevin says yes, and they get to meet properly. Marley tells Kevin not to be afraid whenever he sees him and dispels the rumors about him. He points out his granddaughter in the choir, whom he never gets to meet, as he and his son are estranged. Kevin suggests that he should reconcile with his son, and Marley asks if it would help. Kelvin tells him to at least try. Who knows, it might be that his son misses him, too. After some time, Kevin decides to leave. He and Marley wish each other a Merry Christmas, and Kevin heads back home. The church bell rings, and Kevin sees that it is almost 9 p.m., so he runs as fast as he can. He gets home and rigs the house with booby traps to take on the burglars. He iced the front porch and hung a heater around the doorknob, glue and feathers rigged to a fan, with Buzz's toy cars at the entrance. Kevin also iced the basement entrance, places a nail on the tar on the basement steps, and litters Christmas ornaments at the base of the window. The bandits arrive just when he's about to have his dinner. He quickly turns off the light and hides behind the door. Harry and Marv decide to go through the back door. They knock, expecting Kevin to foolishly open the door, but Harry gets shot through the kitty door, and he groans in pain. Marv decides to try, and Kevin shoots him on the forehead. Harry asks Marv to go through the basement door, while he attacks from the front. Marv steps on the basement stairs and slips. The same fate befalls Harry at the front. Somehow, Marv overcomes the slippery floor by using his crossbar to hold the wedge from the wall. He opens the door and enters. He tries turning on the light, but a hot iron falls from the ceiling and smashes him on the face. Harry tries to open the door from his end, but gets burned from the hot doorknob, which ruins his palm. Harry uses the stairs from the basement, but steps on a nail tard, and he falls greatly to the ground. Seems like the front door is too hard for Harry to break through, so he decides to try somewhere else. He finds another door and opens it, but his hair gets burnt from a blowtorch Kevin had hung on the post. Marv manages to get up and comes out of the house. He sees an open window and tries to access it. However, it happens to be the one Kevin had used for one of his traps. Marv steps on the Christmas ornaments and screams in pain. Fed up, Harry angrily breaks in and is covered with the glued feathers. The bandits meet inside and are surprised to see the damages that Kevin's trap has done to their body. Kevin sees them and calls out to them. They try to go after him, but they steps on the Playboys and slips to the ground. On the staircase, Kevin throws the paint cans, which smashes their faces, and they tip over. Harry realizes his gold tooth has fallen off. On getting up, they chase him upstairs, and Marv successfully grabs him. Just then, Kevin finds Buzz's tarantula and picks it up. He drops it on Marv's face, which scares him. Marv throws it off, but lands on Harry's body. He tries to kill it, but he accidentally hits Harry with a pipe. While the duo pursues Kevin around the house, he calls the police and flees to the treehouse, using the rope. The bandits see him and decide to follow suit in an attempt to stop him from calling the cops, unaware that he already did. They climb on the rope, but Kevin cuts it before they could reach him, and they fall and hit their face against the wall. They stand up, and Kevin lures them into the neighboring home, which they previously broke into. However, they outsmart him this time and ambush him. They grab him and hang him on the wall. Preparing to get their revenge, Old Man Marley intervenes and knocks them unconscious with his snow shovel. The police arrive and arrest Harry and Marv, having identified all the houses that they broke into, due to Marv's destructive characteristic of flooding them. On Christmas Day, Kevin is disappointed to find that his family is still gone. God so willing, Kate arrives at the house and calls on Kevin. Kevin hears his mom's voice and rushes downstairs. Kate sees him and apologizes to him. They reconcile and hug, and Kevin asks about everyone. Just when Kate is about to explain, the rest of the family arrives back in Chicago and is together again. Kate asks to know how they were able to make it back that easily, and Peter tells her that they waited and boarded a direct flight to Chicago, the one Kate couldn't wait for. Kate talks about going to get some items from the grocery store, but is surprised when Kevin tells them he's already done that. Somehow, Kevin decides to keep silent about his encounter with Harry and Marv, although Peter finds Harry's knocked-out gold tooth. Kevin then observes Marley reuniting with his son, daughter-in-law, and granddaughter. Marley notices Kevin, and the pair wave to each other.